carbon dioxide from our body. So it's even good for our body because the acid base balance, more acids, like carbon dioxide, it's carbonic acid goes more out from the body, whereas oxygen can enter more. So in exercise, more amount of carbon dioxide goes out from the body. So measurement of diffusion capacity, mainly here we use the carbon monoxide method. So we want to measure the measurement of diffusion capacity for oxygen, but here we are using the carbon monoxide method. Why? Let us find out. So oxygen diffusion is mainly calculated from alveolar pressure of oxygen and partial pressure of oxygen in pulmonary capillaries and rate of oxygen uptake by blood, but it's difficult to find by all this method, so we use directly the carbon monoxide method. So it's like a double method. Here we can also find out the diffusion capacity of carbon monoxide, and also at the same time we can find out easily by some conversions we can easily find out even the oxygen diffusion capacity. So here let us start with this. So by using this carbon monoxide method, first we say the person to breathe in the carbon monoxide. So by breathing in, the carbon monoxide directly enters into alveoli. So the partial pressure of carbon monoxide, which is taken by samples, we will measure it. And next, the second step, what we do is the partial pressure of carbon monoxide is completely zero in blood, because it tides bindly with hemoglobin. And next, the third step is therefore the pressure difference of carbon monoxide across the respiratory membrane is equal to the partial pressure in alveolar air sample, because both are equal now, because it is not dissolved in blood. And next, the volume of carbon monoxide absorbed in short period, and dividing this by alveolar carbon monoxide partial pressure determine the carbon monoxide diffusion capacity. So what we need to do, the volume of carbon monoxide absorbed in short period and dividing this by alveolar carbon monoxide partial pressure. So by finding this, we can easily find out the carbon monoxide diffusion capacity. So now we need to convert the carbon monoxide to oxygen diffusion capacity. Here what we do is the value is now multiplied by the factor of 1.23, because of difference coefficient of oxygen is like 1.23 of carbon monoxide. So average difference capacity of carbon monoxide, especially in young people, that too at rest, is 17 milliliters of per minute, and diffusion capacity of oxygen is 1.23 times, means it's 21 milliliters. So already we know in rest oxygen capacity is 21 milliliter diffusion capacity, whereas carbon monoxide is just 17. So by this, like that, by conversions we can easily find out the oxygen diffusion capacity by taking carbon monoxide method. Now let us see the diagrams from our textbook and conclude this lesson. So here you can see some of the formulas like V gas, we already discussed this, and some values of oxygen diffusion coefficient. So oxygen diffusion coefficient is 1, dioxide is 20.3, carbon monoxide is 0.81, and nitrogen is 0.53, whereas helium is 0.95. So among this you can see the carbon dioxide is having higher diffusion capacity, and next comes our oxygen. So later comes all our different gases. So you can see what are the layers of respiratory membrane we already discussed in our previous chapter. That is a layer of fluid lining the alveolus, which is of course the surfactant layer, and the next layer comes the alveolar epithelium, which is mainly with thin epithelial cells, and next comes the epithelial basement membrane, and next is a thin interstitial space between the alveoli and the capillary membrane, and fifth one is a capillary basement membrane, and final one is a capillary endothelial membrane. So if you want to check out this, you can also check in our previous videos which we already discussed. And next, coming to this graph which is showing a perfusion and diffusion limitation. So time in capillary is on x-axis, on y-axis you can see the partial pressure. So you can see as the time is increasing, the partial pressure is also increasing of oxygen, but this is abnormal value of increasing in oxygen, whereas oxygen normal value, you can see it's like steadily first has increased and later it has come to the steady state, whereas it's abnormally like this increasing end of the capillary, start of the capillary, this is the alveolar side. And nitric, you can compare here oxygen, nitric oxide and carbon monoxide. So you can see oxygen normal is increasing with the time, but it has become normal even at the end of the capillary. But at the starting of capillary, if it is abnormal, you can see oxygen is like this increasing rapidly. This nitric oxide, you can see at starting of capillary it has increase, but at the middle and end it is straight, because nitric oxide also doesn't bind, it gets dissolved. Whereas carbon monoxide, you can see its values are very low because carbon dioxide binds very tightly with hemoglobin. So this is the reason why it's, you can see it's negligible, very low. But oxygen normal is very high, and even you can see nitric oxide is also high, but oxygen abnormal is somewhat low. Once again, they're given the preview that the factors which affect diffusion capacity. So all factors discussed earlier affect diffusion through respiratory membrane can affect diffusion capacity, thickness, yeah, surface area, diffusion coefficient of gas, partial pressure difference, yeah. And causes of increased diffusion cause capacity for oxygen during exercise. So opening of many previously dormant pulmonary capillaries or extra dilation of already open capillaries thereby increase the surface area of blood into which oxygen can diffuse, and a better match between the ventilation of alveoli and perfusion of alveolar capillaries with blood called the ventilation perfusion, which is explained, yeah. So this is the graph which where we can compare the carbon monoxide, oxygen and carbon dioxide in normal lungs, in rest, mainly in rest, and also in exercise. So you can see carbon monoxide here, carbon monoxide here, you can see this red one indicates rest and blue one exercise. So carbon monoxide in rest, you can see it's very low, whereas carbon monoxide in exercise has increased but not that much. Whereas oxygen also, you can see in rest it is we know already the values. In rest it will be 21, whereas in exercise it will become more like 65 or so in exercise. Whereas carbon dioxide, you can see it's a very big increase in exercise, like 1200 to something, but in the beginning it's like 400 to 450, like that, the values of carbon dioxide. So you can see in exercise we can compare in rest and exercise how the values are increasing, how the diffusion capacity is increasing. For carbon dioxide only slight, even oxygen slight, but carbon dioxide have very large increase of diffusion capacity, especially in exercise.